Hi guys, thank you again for tuning into my channel. I'm so glad you're all here again. I'm excited because I went on a long break and I'm back, so it feels good to be back. I hope you all had a wonderful break, and for those that have resumed school, I hope classes started on a good note because I'm actually not ready to get started at school, because guess what, I was sleeping yesterday in class and today I was sleeping in class too. But anyways, I'm trying to recover from the long break. But anyways, it feels good to be back to school, the school life, back to the community, and seeing people again. I think it feels good, and I appreciate you all for coming to this channel once again to view this video. So like I promised, I would keep you guys hooked on so many things. It's not been easy because it's my first time starting up a channel, but I hope to give you all the best. So basically today I was talking about two good things. One is like a testimony, and the second one is how I became a Christian. First of all, I like to tell you how I was born a Muslim, and this topic might be very sensitive, but I want to urge you all, this is not a personal attack on anybody or anybody's religion. I believe in us all. Together we are one, and then I hope we learn to love one another the way we are, so we can achieve a common goal. So like I said, I was born a Muslim. My parents, my mom and dad, were from a Muslim background, and they both were Muslim when they got married, and then when they gave birth to us, I was born into a Muslim family basically. So I'm the second child of my parents. So when I was born, we were still a Muslim, and my first name is Waliat. So I get called by that name a lot, but it's fine. So my parents are Muslims, and they were Muslims rather, and I was born into a Muslim family. I was going to the mosque. I was doing everything you know, a normal Muslim should be doing. At that time I was pretty much young, so I didn't really know much. I can't remember a lot, but I know that I did go to the mosque, and then you know, this, I don't know what they call it because I can't really remember, where the little kids go to learn the alphabets in Arabics. I think it's called Kewu, so I learned that too. I was usually going to the mosque with my sister and all that. I grew up into that church, into the community. I was a Christian, and it was good for me. It was fun, and I got to the university like that too. So my parents got converted in a Christian church because they went with a family member to visit, and then I think my dad had the conviction, so he went back. After him, it took my mom, and then later, because you know, both parents are already going to the church, they took her and my sister along with them to the church. So that's how I became a Christian, or I became a Christian, yes, according to my parent religion. But along the line, you know, I started going to Cherubim and Seraphim Church with my mom because that's where they got converted. It's a very good and spiritual church. I know a lot of people have a lot to say about that, but you know, from my own experience, I'd say it's a very good church. It's a wonderful church, a church that is based on the foundation of God, and a very spiritual church. So I'm not here to argue about that or say things that would be controversial, but to me, as a Christian, I knew what I wanted, and I went for it. I became a true Christian. I remember vividly when I was in secondary school and I had an encounter with God. I had a personal encounter with God during a ministration by one of my teachers. Then I remember her face. I remember that moment. I remember how it all happened, and I can say that it was a very beautiful moment. It was a moment I never expected, but it happened, and I can tell you all that it has been the best experience so far. So that day, I just, you know, that was my first time going to the school fellowship anyways. So I got there, that was when I was in secondary school. My secondary school is called Government College Agege and Okaja. So I went there to the fellowship then, and I remember during the ministration, there's this particular song that the teacher sang that really touched my heart, my soul. the song goes third. It says, when the saints are marching on, or when the saints are marching on, Lord, I want to be in the number. And then she started ministering with the song saying, are you sure you'll be among those who would go when, when it's time, when the trumpet blows? And that song was so important to me. It was so insightful. And I learned a lot that day. And immediately before I left that, I had this conviction in my heart. And then I knew I was saved. And then being saved at that moment was going to change my life forever. And I also knew that, accepting Jesus at that moment will be a turnaround for me. If there's something I can remember clearly growing up, it's that moment. The moment I dedicated my life to Christ, identified with Christ personally, when I had a personal encounter with Christ, and not just identifying with my parents' religion, was the moment I knew that things were about to turn around for me. And I learned a lot about Christianity personally then. The teacher talked about the fact that God loves us so much, despite our shames, our disappointment, whatever we've gone through, our sins. Is always willing to, embrace us when we're lost, when we've gone so far away from Him. Just like the story of the prodigal child, for those who have read this story in the Bible, how he left and then his dad was, excited he came back, and then he did a party for him. That's the story of how God really loves us so much, and then He's always wanting us to come back to Him. He always wants us. He's always ready to accept us. And that moment in my life was changed forever, to be honest with you. The day I gave my life to Christ, the day I dedicated my life to Christ and had the personal encounter with God, was the moment my life changed forever. And that was in 2011. And I can say this journey of 9 years has been so beautiful. So beautiful. I can't imagine any other journey like this one. And I pray that, I'll be able to do this for the rest of my life. I believe in the Bible. I have a very, very grounded faith in God's word, because since I became a Christian, I understand the power I have in this word and how I can proclaim the word of God and things begin to change for me. And I'll tell you, this journey is not so easy, because as Christians, we're faced with temptations. As Christians, we're faced with so many challenges. Sometimes people look up to us and say, you're a Christian, things are not working for you the way you want it. Your life is still the same thing. But the truth is that God didn't promise us a very, so to say, smooth journey. Trials and temptations will come. But do you know what God promised us? He said, yes, He's not giving us a spirit of fear, but of love and of a sound mind. Again, He says that, these trials and temptations will not overcome us. He has given us the strength to overcome them. And the only thing we need as Christians in this process is faith. Faith will make things still. Faith will make things work for us, and it will change our life forever. And I hope someone who is struggling with their faith, or who has not had a personal encounter with God, would reevaluate themselves and try and see how they can become personal with God. Because I know some people, when I asked them, how did you become a Christian, they only told me they were born into a Christian family. But really, that doesn't make you a Christian until you identify personally with God and proclaim that you are saved and accept Jesus. Is the moment your life changes forever. Is the moment your life begins to turn around. And that moment, I think, is now. That moment is now. I hope this little story of mine that I've shared today would impact somebody, and somebody who is struggling with his or her faith would be able to watch this video and rededicate their life to God. And like I said, I've faced a lot of temptations, I've faced a lot of struggles, but they have never overcome me, because the moment I realize I'm going astray is the moment I go back to my Father, because God is a loving God. So I'll leave us with this question. Even if God is a loving God, should we then continue in sin and say grace might abound, like Apostle Paul said? So we need to really evaluate our lives as Christians. For those that are Christians already, or have identified personally with God, and they're walking in a path of righteousness, I'll just ask you that, I know it's not, for some of us, it's not so easy to, be steadfast. Sometimes we lie, sometimes we get angry at people. We shouldn't do this as Christians, because people should be able to look at us and say we are we are righteous people. People should be able to look at us and say that we are Christians. Christians at heart, not Christians, you know, in the open, and then when you get to your closet, you are doing something differently. I know Jesus can help you and I. God can help you and I to really overcome all these things, because he has done it for me, and I'm sure he's going to do it for you. So just believe in him, trust the process, and just give all you have to God. Lay them down and give him everything totally. Like I said, I've faced a lot of temptations, I've faced a lot of struggles, but they have never overcome me, because the moment I realize I'm going astray is the moment I go back to my Father, because God is a loving God. So I'll leave us with this question: even if God is a loving God, should we then continue in sin and say grace might abound, like Apostle Paul said? So we need to really evaluate our lives as Christians. For those that are Christians already, or have identified personally with God, and you know they're walking in a path of righteousness, I'll just ask you that, I know it's not, for some of us it's not so easy to, you know, be steadfast. Sometimes we lie, sometimes we get angry at people. We shouldn't do this as Christians, because people should be able to look at us and say we are righteous people. People should be able to look at us and say that we are Christians at heart, not Christians, you know, in the open, and then when you get to your closet, you are doing something differently. I know Jesus can help you and I. God can help you and I to really overcome all these things, because he has done it for me, and I'm sure he's going to do it for you. So just believe in him, trust the process, and just give all you have to God. Lay them down and give him everything totally.